Okay, well, Peter, let me ask you this, and we're coming close to the end of the spotlight today. And just you mentioned what's one last thing, if you wouldn't mind ending on this note, is that coaching, someone who's actually a writing coach. Just tell us how that person, whoever you use, impact your life, because there'll be people who are writers who'll be looking at you, and they'll want to know what did you use and why. A book coach.
I used someone in the UK. It's called Peter Thompson, and he had a program, a training course where he went through step by step how to do it. And what it did for me was it took the mystery out of the whole thing. It brought it all back down to earth. It is like this proverbial, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. So writing a book can be this big a job, but you have to break it down to one step at a time. It's a project. And when you have someone who provides you with a structure, and there are book writing coaches out there, but I would say find someone who is also skilled in the marketing afterwards. One thing is a technicality of linguistically writing a book and to structure a book and to have it published, okay, but you need to be able to market it. And one of the problems is if you go with a publisher, you may be lucky that they will publish your book, but they do not do the marketing. You have to be on the case and do the marketing and the promotion yourself. They don't do it. It's just in their catalog. So there's an awful lot to talk about. To think about and do a lot of thinking and searching and fact finding before you embark on the process.
Okay. And I want to thank you again for coming on board with me again today. And I just want to ask you, your two books. How long did it take for you to actually write? Both books, the smaller one, and then I know you were a co-author in the second book. But how long did it take for you, Peter?
Duration-wise, I can't remember, but effort-wise, a week. but there's a lot of, I put it to one side and then I do other things for a couple of days or another week, and then I come back to it. But when you write a book, and I'm talking non-fiction here, if you're passionate about something, if it's something you are already good at, it's already in your head. So it just needs to get down on paper in a structured way. And then you can do all the proofreading and all those good things. But if it's a business book, or in this case, in my case, a self-help book, you already know your stuff. So it's about deciding what part of all the stuff that's in your head do you want to put on paper. So limit the scope. Don't tell them everything you know, because the thicker the book, the fewer people will actually read it to the end. So if you get to 100 pages, you've already started losing your readership. The ideal spot, I think, if I remember correctly, is about 70 to 100 pages. But you start by not focusing on the pages. You can always reduce. Mark Twain, I keep coming back to this quote from Mark Twain. I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one.
I love that quote.
It is fantastic.
Peter, I love that.
It takes much more effort to be concise.
And Peter, thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us about your expertise and about how that impacted your book, and even about your life and how your life impacts your journey. And so you went from personal and you went professional, and you took the two and say, Marlene, they walk hand in hand along that journey, and they impact your life overall. Thank you, because sometimes we don't, because I wasn't looking at it that way. We think that, okay, business, it's a lot of business. That's what's going on with us right now. And some of us will blame family, or we'll blame friends or relationship. But I really appreciate you helping us to understand so closely today. Thank you again, Peter.
In this day and age, we do things via Zoom or other means. So yes, I'm in the UK, you're in the States, but we're having a conversation, and that is the same for my clients. They're not always, and not all of them, in the UK. They're also in the States. We
Wow.
just need to work out those time zones.
Wow. But Peter, thank you again.
Thank you for having me, and always a pleasure talking to you, Marlene.